We got two people here. So first time I did this, I had fucking nobody, and I don't expect much of these things. But anyways, I wanted to say hi, because I've had a fucking brutal past couple of years, and I would like to hear about your past couple of years because I don't know about you, but we had that little thing called the coronavirus, and I don't know, everything kind of fucking sucks since then. So let's hear what do you guys have to say? I have fucking nothing to tell you guys, honestly. Like, what I do, I did some vlogs like 2 or 3 years ago, and there's almost nothing really to tell you. I mean, nothing at least great. So, what's happening, fellas? Dirty Gary too. Oh man, what can I tell you about that first? What can I tell you about that video? God, that was 2007, 2006. I have some old compadres from the old days that claimed that Face Punch was the only reason that we had any sort of significance, which that's both right and wrong, because obviously in the old days, the forums were a great place to whore yourself out, right? Like, if it was 2006, 2007, 2008, like, just go on an internet forum and post your shit, and somebody's going to eventually, like, look at it, right? Like, and honestly, I guess we'll start it with this. Like, that's the biggest problem with the internet today, or at least one of the biggest hurdles of the internet today, because you're really not going to get anywhere unless you can, like, spam your link in a million different fucking places, right? Like, that's kind of the difference maker. At least it was back, 10 fucking years ago. So, I complain about people who I say, there's one specific person who I guess made that comment, like, oh man, yeah, our videos never would have fucking done anything if they weren't like fucking spammed on the forums. But what else were you supposed to do, back in those days, right? And now today is totally different. And I don't know what the fuck you guys think about that shit, but obviously fucking old faggots like me don't really, I guess, relate to a lot of the stuff that's going on right now. But anyways, yeah, okay, so this guy in the chat here talking about buy bots, buy marketing. I don't mean to go off on a fucking dumb rant about this, but I think that's kind of where things really went south, because you can whether it's Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or whatever fucking big website, Instagram, people buy followers and have fake followings and all that kind of shit. So I don't know. That's kind of a problem. It makes it a lot hard. I mean, yeah, the whole point is today it's a lot harder to do shit than it was 10 years ago. I guess that's, if we're going to fucking go anywhere with this, then that's where we're going to start. Well, no, not for Face Punch. We wouldn't be buying bots. No, it'd be for Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or something like that, right? So, but, oh God. The worst part about this is, like, I say, I guess we can also start here. I am totally not even close to the person I was 10 years ago. Like, it's not even funny. Like, it's actually quite sad. And I don't mean to make this really depressing. Like, I don't know how many of you guys have been around on this YouTube channel for the last 10 years, but we really kind of went off the deep end, and some of you might have been around there and around for this and remember some of this stuff. And I guess, you really have to learn how to handle some of this shit. Like, if you don't know how to handle this shit, then you're going to be pretty much fucking stuck in the water. So that's kind of where we went wrong. If you want to, like, know the trick to doing anything like this on YouTube or on the internet or anything in general, you have to know how to plan for the future. You absolutely have to know how to plan ahead. If you can't plan 2 or 3 months in advance, then you're pretty much dead in the water. Like, so here's something that I can tell you about the YouTube days back in the day. So one of the things about having some sort of presence on YouTube is you really have to know what the hell you're doing the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months in advance. And if you don't know what you're doing, so for example, in my experience, I always knew, like, okay, I'm working on this video right now, and I'm going to be working on this video after that. And when it came to beyond that, I had no fucking clue. Absolutely no fucking clue. And that's where, obviously, there's way more to the story than this. And there's way more that went wrong besides this. But if there's one thing that I can pinpoint to where I went horribly wrong, and there's probably a lot better answers than this, you have to know how to plan for the future. If you don't know how to plan for the future, then there's nothing that's going to come from this long term that is good. So that's pretty much normal life advice, right? Like, that doesn't apply to just YouTube or the internet or just videos. Like, you absolutely have to know how to plan ahead. And like I say, I'm 32 years old right now, and a lot of our old fellows were are the same age now. And I think that really is kind of a reoccurring theme throughout life. And especially, I don't know, let's get kind of political, I guess, with COVID, that things have really I've met so many people since COVID happened that have changed their careers or have gotten out of what they're currently doing and have gotten into something else. And I'm the exact same way. I don't mean to go from like YouTube and internet shit to fucking COVID, but that's pretty much what happened here. Let me see if I can read your chat messages. Oh, John. Yeah. Well, if you've been around for 10 months, you are literally 10 years late. So whoever's saying that you've been around for 10 months, you're not only 10 months late, you're fucking 10 years late. So I don't know. Anybody got any questions? I talked to Boris. Okay, so this guy asked if I talked to Boris. Boris is literally the only person that I still talk to. That's it. I don't mean to fucking get into that kind of shit, but he just messaged me from he messaged me like for the first time in a few months. Crackbone and I, no, we don't talk anymore. I'm not gonna fucking get into that shit, but that's a whole, man, this should be a fucking document. Okay, so here's all I'm gonna say about Crackbone, right? Oh man, this is a great story. Let's get into fucking story time here, man. He fucking drove to Los Angeles and hooked up with Kale Anonymous's girlfriend. If there's somebody in this fucking video right now that knows about this, like, here's where Machinima.com and I went horribly wrong, right? Okay, let's get into some fucking history here, man. I don't know. I got nothing fucking better to do. Let's fucking do this. Okay, so what is the year? The year is 2008. I get an email from a Jewish guy that I know from New York City. He's connected with the two brothers that owned Machinima at the time. And the two brothers from Machinima are asking this guy from New York City, hey, who do you know that makes Half-Life videos? We need people that make Half-Life videos. Do you know anyone at all? And the New York City guy dropped my name. And I got off onto a great start with Machinima.com. This is 2008 July, or early 2008, something like that. Like, I just fucking graduated high school. And anyways, so we get off to a great start. I have this guy. So when, I know a lot of people shit on Machinima.com and all that kind of shit, and like all the things that happened like when the website was dying. But I can tell you right now, in 2008, 2009, like that shit was honestly pretty legitimate. Like, the guys that you work with, like, yeah, they made mistakes and they kind of fucked up once in a while, but they were good people to talk to. They were good people to work with. And things eventually went south when some of the staff there changed. And like say, Ross will tell you a totally different story. Everybody else will tell you a totally different story. I think I have kind of a unique story. But, the guy that I first worked with, I'm not going to say his name or anything like that. He was a fucking, he literally, like, without him, you wouldn't fucking be here right now. Like the first guy that I worked with, he don't live in LA anymore. But without him, I would fucking be nobody. He was the one that kind of promoted all my shit. He was the one that made sure like all my new videos got the top. Like one time when one of my videos got denied from Machinima.com, this is in 2008 or something like that, he fucking personally called me to apologize about what was going on. Right? Do you hear stories about this from Ross? Like, I worked with some great people when I first got there. And unfortunately, the staff kind of changed hands and things kind of went downhill from there. Anyways, so let's fast forward to when I meet Crackbone. and shit like that, and all these other guys. And we, obviously Crackbone was my fucking meal ticket. I'm not gonna fucking lie. Like, what? Who else was my meal ticket? Was you know what I mean? Like, he was my meal ticket, right? And here's the crazy part of this story. Machinima.com literally contacted him behind my fucking back, asking him, hey, you want to do your own separate deal aside from Xantos? Fuck that Xantos guy. Like, you're obviously more popular than him. Do you want to fucking do a deal with us on your own? And Crackbone said no. I got to give him credit for that. Obviously, we don't really talk anymore. I don't know what the fuck he's doing now. Probably still ranting. Crackbone's that guy that kind of loves to have an audience. He loves to have an audience, and that's all he wants. But when Machinima contacted him, kind of behind my back, he said no, because I can tell you this about Crackbone right now. When he first got involved, he was all about the videos. If he fucking says otherwise, he's a liar. Like, when we first started doing like G-Man Squad 4 or whatever the fuck that was, and a couple other videos, he was on board. And then it was once he realized that these videos were kind of getting out of hand and getting popular, he changed his mind and things really started getting out of hand. But see, he can claim that as an argument. However, none of that shit makes any fucking sense, because he literally drove to Los Angeles to have sex with a girl that worked there. Okay, so anyways, but this is literally a true story, and it's like the funniest fucking thing about this is they did not like me after this happened. What do you expect? Okay, so there's a guy and a girl that work at Machinima.com, right? And Crackbone, for some, I guess he's a kind of a player. He's more of a player than me. Like, I'll tell you right now, like, I can count like the number of girls I've slept with on one hand, but he's more of a player than I am. And he literally got this, he could chat chicks up on the internet and fucking hook up with them. And he literally hooked up with a girl that worked at Machinima.com. And this is a true fucking story. Because of this, obviously, they didn't like him very much. They didn't like me very much. And the rest is history, right? But that's not the reason why I personally kind of fucking tanked on YouTube. So those Ventrilo recordings are totally separate from what I'm talking about now. He was fucking funny as fuck, in those. But no, this is. I don't know, what else can I tell. So what else can I tell you about this? So I knew some of the inner workings. So one of my best bros, I hate to use that kind of term, from Machinima.com, pretty much stood up to ownership, and he got fired for it. This is a true. Yeah. So, and then I don't mean to blame like my fucking failures on that, but this is what happened. And I think it's a unique take. Like, I can remember, and I don't mean to shit on Ross Scott. Obviously, Ross Scott is super successful and he's still going strong to this day. But I can remember when the shit was going down with Machinima.com, he was constantly whining and crying and complaining on his blog. And it's like, I get that you have a reason to do that. Unfortunately, it's I don't think it's like the right thing. I looking back, I don't think that was the right thing to do. So I guess maybe I'll kind of end this stupid fucking live stream on this. I'm just kind of talking to myself here, but a lot of people shit on that website when that website gave them fucking everything that they had. And I'm not trying to defend them. I think they Machinima.com deliberately tried to be a fucking train wreck in order to kind of cancel themselves and take themselves down. But unfortunately, I think there's a lot of fucking drama and bullshit that was thrown out there that's just not fact. It's it's easy to throw Machinima under the bus for what fucking happened to that website and that channel. Unfortunately, I think a lot of that stuff comes from a biased perspective, and they're not looking at the big picture. What you guys don't realize is there are a lot of like old school people that like don't even acknowledge what that website was. Hold on. Okay, we're done. Okay, so I just got a comment that says I kind of look like Tyler McVicker. If you think I'm anything like that guy, okay, we're done here. I'm not anything like that guy. I don't want to. If Tyler McVicker is the best that you fucking people can come up with in the Valve and Source community, then you guys should probably just fucking quit now. Because if that's who you kind of like rest your hopes on, if you rest your hopes on Tyler McVicker, then you're done. You're already done. You're not going to go anywhere. I mean, I can remember reading Twitter posts. I mean, I ain't no fucking saint myself, but I can remember reading a bunch of Twitter posts by him that were some of the most fucking retarded garbage that I've ever seen in my life about drugs and other things like that. I mean, you're better off talking to your boy Xanatos here, or the G-Man Squad. I don't know. So, thoughts on Half-Life Alyx? I never played it. I thought Half-Life Alyx was going to maybe kind of like start something new, and that never happened. Like, I remember when Half-Life Alyx first came out, I thought that there's going to be all kinds of mods and all kinds of things that came from that, and that never happened. So I was totally wrong there. I mean, sometimes you're very hopeful, and like you have a lot of like predictions that are like, I'm banking on like good things to happen and positive things to happen, and then you realize, well, in the real world, being hopeful isn't really what happens, and you know you're kind of yeah, it did die so quickly. So it pretty much died quickly. Yeah, and anyways, I don't really do much of anything anymore. I hate to say this to you guys, but how far we have fallen in 10 years. I mean, I don't know. Just all I can say is don't give up. Don't do the same thing that I did. You know, I pretty much gave up 5 years ago when I was like 27 years old. I don't do any media jobs anymore. I don't do any video editing anymore. I don't fucking do any of that shit. And like, you know, people who are watching this right now who grew up with my videos probably fucking think that's horrible. And like, you know, there's a whole social element to all this shit. Like, right? Like, you know, I was super fucking lucky 10 years ago because a lot of those people thought like what we were doing was cool and new and refreshing, and it absolutely was. But unfortunately, like, it's not cool anymore, and it doesn't fucking matter anymore. And you really have to keep these things in mind, especially when you're doing them at the time, because obviously, I will admit, when we were making a lot of those old videos, I was out to lunch. Like, I was just straight up out to lunch, and all I cared about was like what I was doing that day instead of what I was doing in a week from now, and 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. I work a much worse job right now. Like, you know, let's get real here. One of the main reasons why JS and all those JS guys fucking hate my guts was because I only paid like 2 or 3 people for the work. Because, you know, think about it. So, okay, so this is the end of JS right here. Let's just get fucking real. Counter-Strike for Kids, we made that video in 3 or 4 days. Had no fucking idea that it would go viral. I thought this video was going to get like fucking 30,000, 40,000 views in July 2008, right? And next thing I know, it's got 2 million views in 2 days. We had 20 million people worked on that video. We had 20 people work on that video. Now, what am I supposed to do? Okay, well, based on how much money I made off this video, do I gotta fucking divide it evenly among everybody? Like, what do I gotta fucking do, man? Like, oh my God, I'm making up everybody. And then fucking people thought like I made like fucking a shitload of money off of it, yet I fucking got fucked in the ass on taxes and God knows what else, right? Like, you know, this is all stuff that, like, you know, obviously, like, it's not anybody else's fault. It's my fault because I did not know how to plan ahead. And here's the thing about being an artist and being a creative person. It's super hard to plan ahead or think about the business side of things without that getting in the way of your creative side or your artistic side, right? Like, there's a huge difference between the business side and the artistic side. And if you don't know how to separate the two, like that might work for like a year or two, but after that, you're fucked. You're fucked. Like, there's nothing you can do. So you have to, like, you know, think of all these TV shows from past and present that, you know, for a season, maybe they have 10 or 12 episodes and only 2 or 3 of those episodes are anything good. right? And that's because they are thinking about the business. They're not trying to make the greatest TV show in the fucking world. Like, that's retarded. That's fucking retarded. You should be thinking about, okay, I want money, I want sponsorships, I want business deals. You know, you got to be thinking like, what's in it for me? You really do have to be selfish. And I will admit, you know, back in those days 10 years ago, I was very selfish. Like, of course. So yeah, Crackbone's way more popular than all of us combined. Fucking put them in every video. Fucking put them in everything. Put them front and center. And of course, that really pissed some people like Wolfer off, from what I understand, right? But it's a fucking business decision that you have to make, right? And people are bringing up these fucking random videos I made, like Dirty Gary and fucking Hard Games Night and shit. Like, that shit was just to prove that fuck, man. You know, I hate to fucking. Sounds like it's a major cope for me and like what I did 10 years ago, but you know, Crackbone's biggest problem with me was he claimed that I was doing everything for the fucking money, and like I would have probably made all of those same videos if I wasn't making a fucking dime. This is what we're going to end on. I probably would have made all of those fucking videos that I made on Machinima. It was very nice to get all the views. They definitely helped me out. One or two of those guys that worked there, they must have fucking loved me. But like, I would have done all of that fucking shit if I didn't even make a dime. You know, I mean, and then of course his response to this is an argument that we had like 5-10 years ago, right? His response to that is like, oh yeah, you're full of shit. It's like, how the fuck do you know if you're full of shit? You never even fucking met me. You never met me. And hey, somebody said about Source Wars, that was a case of, okay, so Source Wars, I wrote a shitload of content for 2 episodes or 3 episodes, and we like threw it all in 2 videos. And then when it came time to making a third one, it's like, oh, fuck, what do we do? What do we do, right? Like, I just made 2 videos where I wrote scripts for like 2 months, and I put all the jokes into those 2 scripts. And now it's like, oh, fuck, we got to make a third one. You know, this is so fucking nerdy, and I hate to fucking go on. As long as you know what we're talking about Source Wars, we had like 5 or 6 videos mapped out. But then we realized that's too much work. That's too much work, and it's too hard to plan for the future. It's way too hard to plan for the future, especially 5 or 6 videos into the future. Like I told you just 10 minutes ago, we could do about 2 minutes or two videos. Like okay, I could work on this video and the video that I'm working on next. That's it. So, I mean, okay, so another thing that I can come clean about with Crackbone, some of the stuff that we recorded like was not to his knowledge, and then we used it anyway, or I used it anyway, and of course he used that as some kind of, so half this, but there was plenty of times where like I fucking had to beg him, like, please, can you record voiceover separately for us? And of course he did it, but then there are times where we recorded him where he didn't really fucking know, and it's like, well, this is fucking funny, let's throw it in the video anyways. You know, if you're doing fucking comedy, the only thing you got to worry about is how do I make people laugh, and how do I make a joke that is funny? Like, you know, if you fail on those 2 fronts, then what are you doing? I mean, you're probably just making a fucking vlog or something like that. I don't talk to Stev anymore. He lives in Arizona, last I know, and he's doing way better than I am. So that's all you need to know. So I can tell you this, sounds like he hit a couple blocks in the road and he came out stronger, and I hit a couple blocks in the road and I came out weaker. And he was always kind of like this alpha male kind of personality, and he was always deep down a pretty good dude. But like a lot of people like me and him are very sensitive, and you have to be very careful with our sensitivities. That's pretty much all I really think I want to say there. But he messaged me on YouTube like once or twice in fucking 10 years. And yeah, I'm not happy about that. Like, he should reach out to me. I considered him my very, 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 very best friend. And he should reach out to me and, like, you know, try to make peace, right? Like, I fucking just moved in. But it's like, you know, you gotta find a way to kind of like come out in a way that, okay, I'm not being hostile or I'm not being insensitive. And sometimes when you send that first message to somebody for the first time in years, it just reeks of like insensitivity or fucking and you know what I mean? It's hard to fucking break that silence after so many years. And I don't really know what to tell you, but obviously I still think about him. I've said some horrible, I've said some things that I really regret, and I definitely said some things that pissed him off. And I mean, this is a fucking kid that grew up one block away from me, so he's doing really well for himself, for what I understand. But I'm I mean, compare me to him and you'll see the the path that you want to take. I think he's the path that you want to take and not mine. I will, this internet shit, I don't mean to fucking cry to you guys, but a lot of that internet shit 10 years ago ruined me. I can tell you this, being told that you're great, you're doing awesome work. Oh my God, like I'm a kid and I just discovered this for the first time, and thank you. And like that fucking shit will mess with a person like my head. This is not a good excuse for why I'm a fucking douchebag and an asshole and why I acted out of line 5 or 10 years ago. But think about it, man. If you got all these fucking random people from across the fucking world, all over the fucking world, telling you how great you are, I'll just say eventually I started to believe it, even when I fucking sucked. Like that's, so you got to learn to take some of the comments with a grain of salt. And I can say this about the Lit Fuse guys. Let's talk about the Lit Fuse Films guys for a minute. Oh man, we used to make fun of them all the time, man, like Zachariah and stuff like that. They would get like the most blowhard comments in the world. So many people sucking their dicks. And it was like, why? What? Like for what? Right? And so I don't know. Like you gotta know how to handle comments like that. You can't let that inflate your ego too much. And that's oh my God. Like I had gone off to college and pretty much done nothing for 2 years. And after those 2 years, I still thought I was cool as shit. I still thought I was the coolest motherfucker in the world when I had already become a fucking goddamn loser. And you can't let that shit happen if you're somebody who has kind of future plans. And well, honestly, I had no future plans, so I guess that's my excuse. But it's nice to read these comments. I say I'm 32 now. I don't know how old you guys are. I'm reading some of these comments. Icton, DJY. I'll tell you this about DJY. Good guy. I guess I was kind of mad at him because I felt like he couldn't write his own content. And I mean, I'm the same. We borrowed and stole a number of times ourselves, right? So for me to say that about DJY is kind of ill-founded. He was a weed smoker. He's a Canadian. He kind of like me in a way. Didn't know. But like I'll say this about DJY, I don't want to fucking throw him under the bus or anything like that because I think he's good. I think he does great work. Like the John Freeman videos, he did a fucking fantastic job. But I can remember there was a 2-month period where DJY posted on Facebook about how he could not contact Machinima through email. He could not contact anybody through Machinima through email. And I can just say, having dealt with Machinima from 2008 on, I had at least fucking 2 or 3 phone numbers. DJY, David, how the fuck could you not know how... David was complaining on his Facebook for like a year about how he could not contact machinima.com. David, how the fuck... I got emails from them in the footer of the email. It had their fucking phone number. It had their fucking phone number in the footer of their email. I don't know about that, Pat Rick, because DJY for a fucking year complained about how he couldn't contact them, but yet every fucking email I had from them had some kind of phone number at the bottom. So, anyways, this is kind of a silly thing to say about DJY, oh man, I've told this stories on my I've said this on my community tab a couple times before. One time, Crackbone and I joined the Icton Ventrilo just to kind of scare the shit out of DJY, and he was literally like shitting. He like like this is like 10 years ago, right? Like this is a story from 10 years ago, but this happened because we were just trying to fuck with him like we fucked with Lit Fuse and stuff like that. But no, he obviously he just had a community that was too immature and too young, kind of like what you guys were 10 years ago, right? Yeah. You want to go back so bad? Yeah, you're not the only ones, right? But anyways, any other comments? This actually went pretty well. Like I came into this so bored. The reason I did this live stream is because I'm really depressed with my job. Like I've had a bad 30 days, and I wanted to talk to you guys. And this is going super fucking well. No, that was not really Gary Newman. I'm sorry to tell you. Oh man, did you guys see on Twitter when he used to make fun of his kids? That was some of the funniest fucking shit ever. What else can we say about Gary Newman? I don't know. He's a fucking British ass. I don't know. British guy that made Rust and that, I don't know, that fucking thing called Gary's Mod, I guess. Yeah, that was really George Washington too. I don't know if Daniel from Second Life is an uptight. I would assume he is because he has to deal with a lot of fucking retards. But I feel you, man. My last job was so bad I quit. The suck living with my parents since. I don't know what to tell you there, man, because living with randoms and living by yourself and all that shit really isn't that much better. I definitely moved back to my parents when I was struggling, but I don't know, man. Like if you rent, that's going to be a problem. If you buy a house, that's going to be a problem. If you fucking do anything, that's going to be a problem, you know. So I have no advice for you. Just fucking do, especially with what happened since COVID, because I got fucking busted for weed in 2015 or 2016 in Michigan before it was legal, and I had to fucking move back in with mom and dad. I fucking had to pay a fucking $1,000 for fucking getting busted, you know? Like, anyways, I ain't gonna fucking judge you, you know? I mean, fuck, I fucking made I fucking made a bunch of fucking money on YouTube, and I fucking moved back in with my parents still, so. You don't gotta fucking, I mean, who cares? Nobody's gonna judge you, dude. Nobody's gonna judge you, but I don't know, you could be me now, 32, living by themselves, have a bunch of money, you don't fucking spend it, no fucking friends anymore. A lot of that's my fault. Could be worse, dude. Let's say, but I say, like I tried to say fucking 15 minutes ago or fucking half hour ago, do not fucking give up. Do not fucking give up. You know, I've been working shitty jobs ever since I fucking did this YouTube shit, and I've pretty much lived in an hour radius of where I grew up ever since. And, you know, most of the people from around here, they fucking moved out of state. They moved out of town, you know. And I think they had the right idea because I don't know about you guys, but here in Michigan, we've had a lot of transplants from out of state, and they're all fucking idiots. So I don't know. Just find some situation that you're comfortable with. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this live stream is you think I'm fucking comfortable, dude? I'm 32 years old, no girlfriend, never been married, never had a kid. I don't know what you guys think, but I consider my life to be a failure unless I have a kid, or if I get, you know, I got to have a kid or I got to get married. Otherwise, I will consider my life a failure. And I think if you're 32 years old, it's not too late, you know, or if you're 30 years old, you still have time. You have time still to make mistakes. But I think that's kind of where we're at right now. And, you know, if you're doing the YouTube thing right now, if you're doing the internet thing right now, if you're doing, you know, any of that kind of shit, you know, you kind of have to have some perspective, and you have to realize, like, well, okay, if I'm only getting 30 views a video here, this shit's probably not worth it. But you also don't want to give up. You have to be realistic, but you also have to hang in there. You have to kind of fucking, like I say, I can't tell you how many times I was a fucking idiot in my mid to late 20s. I can't tell you how many times but I like I told you in one of my vlogs, like I fucking grew up so much because I fucking got busted when I was 26 and 27 years old. And I can tell you there's a lot of people from our old crew that probably fit that exact same fucking description. So, but, you know, chasing glory, you know, fuck that. That can also ruin you. That can also ruin you. And I mean, I want to say ruined me. Like, I'm so proud of the fact that we have all these people who like say like, oh man, you know, you influenced my sense of humor, and thank you so much. It's like, fuck, man. All we did was sit in the fucking basement and fucking make videos and spend like 3 weeks on them. You know, like I don't consider myself any kind of hero, but for the, you know, I mean, you guys have really like been carrying me through. Like without the comments, you know, here's the thing. You don't want to read too much into the comments, but obviously you can definitely go to them for moral support. You can definitely go to them for moral support. So, goddamn, let's see if we got any more comments. Marriage and kids aren't what it's cracked up to be. Yeah, but if you're fucking like me, 32 years old with fucking nothing to live for, then I don't know if you want to say that to somebody like me, dude. New York City and transports are running us out. Yeah, New York City. How's New York City been lately? Like I say, I've been to Manhattan before. I gave myself no time to do anything. I was there on Halloween in 2008. I met Steinman. I met Zachariah. I met all kinds of Machinima people. I saw more cops there than I ever saw in my entire life. That's a story for another day. Zachariah hated me. I talked to Steinman. So Steinman, you know, obviously we made fun of him in the videos and stuff. I talked to him straight up for like 15, 20 minutes in New York City. That was cool. I even messaged him like 3-4 years ago just to say hi, because he was a good guy. Yeah, you know, there's people like Zachariah who think they're the fucking coolest guys in the world, and there are people like Steinman who are humble and appreciative and respectful, and that's all I'm going to say about Lit Fuse Films. DJY, I think he's great. Obviously, I think there's some things he did that were kind of stupid, like, why doesn't MissCinema.com email me back? Even though I probably have 3 or 4 of their fucking phone numbers. And then Ross Scott, like, obviously he's the most successful of all, the most popular of all, but he literally cried on his blog for like a fucking year about fucking nothing, and I think he's a kind of a faggot for that. No offense, Ross, but and I mean, hey man, speaking of faggots, the biggest one's right here. The biggest one's right here. So, hey, we're not perfect. I say we're very outspoken, and it's caused a lot of people to hate me, and it caused Machinima to hate me. For example, when Machinima.com was pretty much at the end of its time, they took down a lot of my videos first because I had made a lot of fucking posts, and like, speaking of Stev, somebody brought up Stev earlier. Fuck, man, during those Machinima days in 2012 or whatever, he straight up made a video calling everybody that worked at that website a faggot. And then next thing I know, 2 days later, I get an email from the second guy who was like my boss. He's technically my boss, I guess. I get an email from this guy who's literally saying, like, what the fuck is this? Why is your buddy calling us a bunch of fucking faggots? And obviously at the time, I didn't think this shit was funny, but 10 years later, shit's fucking hilarious. Shit's fucking hilarious. So, hey, here, can you tell this is my, can you tell this is where I live? Yeah, he's back, folks. He may have died in a live stream 8 or 9 years ago, but he's back. He's in my apartment. He's better than ever. Oh, fuck. This was such a goddamn waste. Anyway, wow, we have 19 people here. So, hey, Pat, Pat, I will say this. Maybe we should end this. Okay, so don't drink whiskey, dude. Don't drink liquor, man. If you're gonna drink, you gotta drink beer. Because if you drink whiskey, you're gonna get too fucking crazy and ruin your fucking life like I almost did. I never got busted for alcohol, but I got busted for marijuana. You should ask the other JS guys what they got busted for. But, okay. Any other last comments or questions? I think we're done here. This is pretty much it. I got nothing to say. I feel like these last 10 minutes have been nothing good, and then the first 30 minutes were kind of good, so I think we're done here. So, okay. It's nice. We are struggling a little bit. 32 years old, no friends anymore. Don't fucking feel sorry for me because it's my own fucking fault, right? Working a pretty dead-end job. Don't worry, we're okay financially. We're okay, in most things in life, but it could be better than this. So don't give up, guys. If you want to fucking hear what happened with the whole YouTube shit, we plain and simple fucking gave up, and we tried to move on to other things when we should have stuck with what, if you have momentum and you are gaining momentum, you have to stick with that momentum and do not fucking give up. Don't give up. Okay. Good night, everybody. Nice talking to you.